What's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel, and today we're talking about my expectations and predictions for the Switch 2 reveal event, because apparently it's coming very soon. According to the great Nate the Hate over on his podcast, he said it's coming out on, well, it's not coming out. The trailer is going to be dropped on Thursday of this week. So finally, after what feels like years of waiting, we're finally going to see this console in action and get a look at some of its features and hopefully some of its games, even though Nate said he's not so sure that they're going to show off any significant gameplay footage in the reveal event. So the point is, I just wanted to hop on here real quick and give my quick thoughts on what we could see at the reveal and also some small predictions for the event. As you can tell, I am back in my dorm, but I am at a different angle because I actually recorded this yesterday. I recorded the whole video, or at least I thought I did. It was like 15 minutes long, whole explanation on everything, and I forgot to hit the record button. So you're kind of getting the lower effort angle here because my phone screen is pointing towards me rather than away from me, if that makes sense. I'm using the front camera, which is easier to set up. So that's why you're getting a different angle and probably a lower quality one as well. Also, this angle makes my eyes look weird. I'm noticing that because I can see myself through the camera, so you're welcome for that. Also, I'm looking at the center of the camera, but that's not where the camera actually is, so it kind of looks like I'm not looking at the screen. Sorry. All of this is to say it's kind of a low-budget affair today because I just want to get this out. It's fun to give predictions and stuff like that before an event. I want to do that for this one and see how much we get right before we see this console in action, hopefully on Thursday. You never know, but hopefully on Thursday. I trust Nate. I mean, at this point, he's kind of the most reliable guy in the biz here. So I think he doesn't take a shot that he thinks he might miss, is what I'll say. So I think we're definitely going to get that presentation this week. So let's get into some hardware information we could see at the event. I have some different details sorted into 3 different categories. Things I think are locks to see, things I think we could see but aren't guaranteed, and then things I think are a long shot but are still possible. For locks, I've got the new Joy-Cons and the new dock. That's pretty obvious, but we've seen a lot of leaks of these things. The new Joy-Cons apparently are magnetic. We'll see those in action. We'll see them snapping into the system however they do. The new dock is apparently curved, so we'll see that in action. I think those are 2 things that are pretty obvious that we're going to see. Another thing that I think is obvious is that new screen. Unfortunately, it is apparently going to be an LCD screen. That is what the rumors are saying, so we're not going to get that sweet OLED screen on this console, but it is going to be substantially bigger, so I think they'll make mention of that. They'll show. That's why I think we're going to see at least some kind of game, because they're going to have to show us how big the screen is functionally with a game running on it. So I think they're going to show us exactly how big that screen is, and we're all going to say, wow, that's a big screen. And then I think we'll see the new kickstand as well. We'll see them do that thing they did in the Switch OLED presentation where they go like whoop, whoop with the kickstand. I was hoping it would be a kickstand like the Switch OLEDs, but according to leaks, it's a little more flimsy than that, it seems. But regardless, it's going to be better than that dumbass Switch kickstand that I genuinely lost like a year into my Switch's life. It fell off, it went somewhere, and I've never found it again. So I'm glad to get any sort of kickstand that's an upgrade over the Switch kickstand. In terms of things we might see, the first one that comes to mind is the optical sensor that may or may not be in the Joy-Con. This is one of the biggest leaks that we've gotten this month, is that apparently there's an optical sensor like there are in mice, computer mice, not animal mice, on the Joy-Con. And that would suggest that you can use the Joy-Con like a mouse in games like Splatoon, and if Master Chief comes to the Switch, games like that could benefit. I said Master Chief. If Halo comes to the Switch in the form of a Master Chief collection, those are games that could use the Joy-Con as mice. If that's a thing, I'd imagine they'd show us it in action. I still can't really visualize how that's going to work or if it is practical in any way, so I hope they do show us that. But I don't think it's guaranteed. I also don't think it's guaranteed we hear about that C button, which sounds dumb, but you know how Nintendo likes to do these kind of layered reveals where we don't get everything at once. The weird thing about this, and why I almost want to put it in the locks category, is that we're going to see it, right? Nintendo can be kind of clever and not show us the optical sensor in the reveal, but we're going to see the C button because it's going to be below the home button, and we're all going to see, hey, there's a button there, Nintendo, what does it do? So I almost think they kind of have to tell us what that is, even if they just give it a name and keep it vague. So we'll probably see that in some sort of action. In terms of what it could be, there was a leak that came out today on Tuesday that it's Forgot to put my computer on mute, as you heard. A rumor came out today that C stands for campus, and it's kind of like a voice chat, group chat kind of feature that we have on other consoles, but kind of Nintendo's spin on it, which would be a huge deal for a lot of people. I don't really care about that stuff. I don't know. I just don't. But I know a lot of people do, and it's insane that Nintendo doesn't have anything like that outside of that terrible NSO phone app, which I'm sure they'll, stranglehold into this feature somehow. They'll say, well, you do need the phone for this, but we also integrated it into the system. I will say, having a button for that, if this is what that button does, is pretty smart. I don't know why there's not a button for that on the Xbox. Now, the Xbox's kind of quick start, pause menu thing is very robust, so it's not hard to get to that from that menu. The Switch's menu, in comparison, is very limited. But it is still interesting that they don't have a button like that just brings you right to your chat or whatever. Although I haven't used those features too much, so maybe there is and I just don't know about it. I don't know. I also think in terms of maybes, a mention of 4K in any capacity. Just the words 4K, this system can run at 4K with some stipulations, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's a lock, but I think it's something we could see because it is a new feature and a new selling point for the Switch 2, and it's not going to be obvious in the trailer that these games are running in 4K because we're not going to get trailers after of the individual games. We're just going to get the main trailer probably with the hardware and maybe some games running on it. I have a few things in unlikely but still possible. The first one, the release date or just a release window. Obviously, it's no guarantee that Nintendo will give this to us, but I hope they do. There's going to be a lot of debates over the next few months of, is it going to be April or May or June? I think it's April. I think it's May. I think it's June. Just give us a release month, Nintendo. Just make sure we don't argue about that for the next 4 weeks. Thanks. Price is another one. I don't think they're going to tell us the price, but they could. UI is another one I have listed here, and maybe this should have been in the maybe category because I think it's going to be kind of hard to show us the system without showing us the UI, like even if it's just a screenshot of it. So I think we probably will see the UI in some regard. I don't know if it's going to be extensive. I don't know if they're going to show us what's new, but I think we'll see it in some semblance of it. That was a terrible sentence. Point is, I think we'll see like a screenshot or two of it. And then the storage amount I have listed, I don't know when they would bring that up. There's a possibility, I suppose. They might just drop in there. Base model, 256 gigabytes of storage, but that's also something they probably save for later. So then if we see the games, what games could we see? It's an interesting question. Again, Nate said we might not get any games in this reveal trailer, which would be really disappointing, so I hope that's wrong. But let's look back at the trailers of the past and talk about what games we saw in those. In the original Switch reveal, we got 6 games revealed. We had 4 first-party games, those being Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Super Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, and then 2 third-party games, those being Skyrim and NBA 2K. For the Switch Lite's presentation, which was a little lengthier and had Koizumi showing us the Switch Lite and then also had that kind of sizzle reel trailer like the original Switch, we also got 6 games shown. Obviously not revealed, but shown with the system. Those being Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Breath of the Wild, Super Smash Bros., Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, and weirdly, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Good for Fire Emblem, getting in the Switch Lite trailer. Then for the Switch OLED, there was actually 9 games shown off in this trailer. So if you want to get optimistic, if you want to have some hopium, they could theoretically fit in 9 different games in this trailer at different points. Now, of course, these games had really short glimpses, so if we get 9 games, it'll probably be a total of 30 seconds of footage, but that's still enough for us to go crazy over. Anyway, the 9 games we saw in the Switch OLED trailer. Metroid Dread, Tears of the Kingdom, which is kind of funny because the game would not come out for 2 years after that, even though they marketed it with the Switch OLED, which came out in 2021. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Bowser's Fury, 50 classic games, that collection on Switch. Splatoon 3, Mario Party Superstars, Ring Fit Adventure, and Super Smash Bros. So 9 games. So I think that's the ceiling we're looking at. Again, maybe there's no games, but I think kind of the lower end would be 5 or 6, and the higher end would be 9 in terms of glimpses of anything, whether it be a game we already know about, a game we don't know about, a third-party game we have seen obviously on other consoles but not on the Switch. I think 5 to 9 is kind of the range we're expecting if we are going to see any games. So what games could we see? Well, I think obviously the ones that come to mind in terms of first-party games are 3D Mario and Mario Kart. It'll have been around 8 years since those Switch versions of those games came out in year 1 of that console. It is far and long overdue that we get a new 3D Mario and a new Mario Kart. I'd be kind of stunned if those 2 games don't come out in the first year of the Switch, and I'd be equally stunned if one of them isn't a launch title. So if we're going to see games, we're going to see those 2. In terms of other first-party offerings, I think Animal Crossing or Splatoon makes sense. I think they're going to have one more game coming out this year for the system. I don't know if it is a game as big as Animal Crossing or Splatoon. Maybe they want to spread that out a little more. But it would be about time for Animal Crossing. It'll have been 5 years this March since New Horizons came out. And that's about the length of time that Nintendo waits between Animal Crossings. And with how well New Horizons sold, that would be a really strong third title to have in the Switch's first year, right? That trio of first-party games would sell a lot of systems. Similarly with Splatoon 2, although that game came out in 2022. I said Splatoon 2. It would be Splatoon 4. Splatoon 3 came out in 2022. So I think we're still a year or 2 off from that game. We might see it in some sort of software presentation whenever they do a bigger blowout for the software, not in this one. But I don't think we're going to see it here. And the other thing I have is some sort of enhanced port. Now, we won't really know if it's an enhanced port, I guess, if we see a game like Breath of the Wild, which I think is the favorite to get an enhanced port on the Switch 2. We won't know if it's an enhanced port or just them showing that the console's backwards compatible, right? If we see Breath of the Wild running on the system, but I certainly think we could. And, maybe it looks so good that it's so obvious that it is a enhanced port, right? It's just, wow, that is definitely not Breath of the Wild running on the Switch. That game looks amazing and it's running at 60 frames, super obviously, I don't know. But I think we could see something like that. In terms of third-party offerings, Elden Ring is the first one that comes to mind. It feels like a 1-to-1 to Skyrim. I think that's a game that just makes a lot of sense for the Switch too. Cyberpunk 2077 is also similar to Skyrim in that it is a game that could be a technical showcase for the Switch 2. Although it doesn't seem like it quite has the vibes to be in this small introductory presentation because it's not really that iconic of a game, but who knows. Final Fantasy VII Remake, which Nate did say is coming to the Switch this year, Switch 2 I should say, this year, could be another one that makes sense. That is an iconic game and would be a pretty big deal because we haven't actually had that confirmed, I don't think, to come to other consoles yet, so it'd be a big announcement as well. And then I have FIFA and Madden, which are 2 games that I think make sense in that NBA 2K slot. Obviously, FIFA has had to deal with the Legacy Edition on the Switch for the last few years, so having an actual edition of FIFA, not a Legacy Edition, shown off here, I think would be a big statement for the Switch 2. I don't know how obvious it would be. If you see FIFA on the screen and you're like, oh, that's not the Legacy Edition. I'm not a big FIFA guy. I don't know how identifiable that is. I also have Madden listed because that could also fit that mold because we didn't get Madden on Switch, right? We got FIFA, we got NBA 2K, we got MLB The Show, as terrible as that port is, but we didn't even get Madden at all. So that would be another big statement for the Switch that's saying, hey, we're getting all of these third-party games when they come out, including the ones that skipped the original console. So that's kind of my overview of what we could see. But what about some predictions? Well, first of all, I do think we're going to see games. It just doesn't make sense to me to not have games at this presentation. That's not how Nintendo operates, right? They are a software-first company. So I think we're going to see at least some glimpses of different games. I think we'll see 3D Mario and Mario Kart, even if it's just for a few seconds. And I also think we'll see Animal Crossing. Again, it's going to be a very short glimpse. And for a game like Animal Crossing, that might not be that meaningful because I don't know how it would look that different from New Horizons in such a short glimpse, but who knows? I'm sure Animal Crossing fans will get super hyped about it. I think we'll see Breath of the Wild running on the Switch. Whether or not they say it is enhanced, who knows? But I think the assumption will be, hey, this is an enhanced port. Hopefully they don't charge $60 for it again. I think we'll get FIFA and Elden Ring as third-party games shown off for the system. And then I think we'll get a Metroid Prime 4 glimpse as well, which will be exciting because I am really excited for that game. Obviously, we're going to get a closer look at that very soon, I'd imagine. But I think we'll get a glimpse of that as kind of I don't know if it's going to be a cross-gen game specifically, but kind of like hey, this game's going to come out around the time the Switch 2 comes out, and maybe it'll have a patch, which would be nice. Because imagine that game with ray tracing and DLSS. Oh my God. Retro could absolutely cook with next-gen hardware. I'm sure of it. I think they're going to mention 4K capabilities. I don't know how deep they're going to go into it. I don't think they're going to say, hey, it's with DLSS upscaling, because that's kind of in the weeds for Nintendo. But I think they'll mention the words 4K compatible in some way. I think the C button is going to be some sort of chat feature. I'm kind of hoping it might be like a camera of some sort. I think that would be cool. Even though it, would be kind of stupid. Like, what is the point of it? I always love the camera on the DS and the 3DS, and I think AR has some interesting possibilities that companies don't really feel like exploring. So maybe the C does stand for camera. That's kind of what I'm holding out for. I also think you could make a cool Nintendogs game with a camera and a microphone. So, again, holding out hope that perhaps we will have that. And I think there was a rumor that, there was an Atlas leak, and it said in that there was a camera on the Switch 2. I don't know. Who knows? This system has so many leaks. It is insane. I can't keep up with any of them. I think we're going to get a brief look at the UI, and I think it's going to be the most disappointing part of the presentation for a lot of people. I think it's going to look mostly the same. It's going to look a little sleeker, a little bit better, a little bit maybe more personable, but I don't think it's going to look like what people are hoping for it to look like in some of these mock-ups I've seen. And personally, I'm not really that upset if that's what happens, because I kind of like the Switch's UI. It's very sleek. It's very snappy. It's easy to get into your games. I don't think they need to change it that much, in my opinion. I don't really care, but I know I'm in the minority in that. They will mention the NSO phone app. I don't know how. I don't know why. There will be some sort of screenshot or mention of it, and we'll all groan. That's my kind of no fun prediction for this presentation. I just kind of feel it in my bones. And then I think we'll get a release month, but not a release day. No price point, no internal storage mention, but I think we'll get a release month for the console, and I think it's going to be June. I would love for it to be earlier. God, could you imagine if this thing comes out in April? I actually don't want that, because I have to focus on finals and stuff that month. So Nintendo, if you could wait until May so I don't fail all of my classes, that'd be great, because there's no way I'm going to focus on anything besides the Switch 2 when it comes out. So just wait till the semester's over. That'd be nice. So May or onwards, perfectly fine. I think it's going to come out in June. I think they're going to take a little bit more of their time with this system, which I guess makes sense because we literally know nothing about it so far. I also quickly wanted to go through a bingo card that I made for the Switch 2 presentation that I will be Xing off as I watch to see if I get a bingo. I always love doing that for Nintendo Directs and otherwise. Here they are. So I have Koizumi or another hosts. Do we see an actual person? Maybe, maybe not. Cyberpunk I have on there. I have mention of NSO on there. I think that's going to be something we see in a future Direct, but maybe they'll mention it here. The new dock. Ooh, I spelled that wrong. I spelled it like dock. Like, what's up, doc? Whatever. New dock. I think we're definitely going to see that. C button. For the C button, I want to see them mention what it is, not just show it, because obviously we're going to see it in the trailer. Something unexpected hardware-wise. Is there a camera? Is there a microphone? Is there something weird that we're not expecting? I don't know. Maybe. Release date / window. I think we're going to get that. Mario Kart. I pray we're going to get that. New Joy-Cons. We're definitely going to get that, at the very least. I have Final Fantasy VII Remake on here. Storage. Any sort of mention of storage. 3D Mario. Again, praying that we get some sort of glimpse into the new 3D Mario. I have price written on here, free space as well, of course, but price. I couldn't think of a 25th, so I have Monolith Soft. Did we see anything from them? I would almost guarantee no, but it'd be nice. I just ordered Xenoblade Chronicles off of eBay, and I put the wrong address, so I sent it to my home, not my dorm. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to play this. I'm going to play it before X comes out. And I shipped it to the wrong place, so forget that idea. I have the optical sensor listed here. Do we see it? I, again, almost think it's a certainty, but they could hide it. 4K. Do we get a mention of 4K? Again, I said we will, but who knows? Another thing I didn't mention that you see on here, top USB-C port, because in all of these leaks and mock-ups, it is reported that there is a USB-C port on the top of the system, which is really clever, so that you can charge it while the kickstand is out. I am really surprised they did that, because it's very unlike Nintendo to do something like that. But do we see it? Probably, and that's honestly the coolest hardware feature of any of these, I think. Elden Ring and Splatoon, games. Do we see them? Sabrina Carpenter song, that was a rumor that Sabrina Carpenter was going to make the music for the trailer. Sure, why not? And Pharrell Williams was involved. That was part of the rumor too, which would be cool. I like Pharrell. UI, do we see it? Maybe. Kickstand, again, I think we're going to see it. I think they're going to show us, oh, it's the kickstand. So yeah, and then I have FIFA and Animal Crossing rounding out the bingo. In terms of what I think is the most likely bingo, I kind of like C button, New Joy-Cons, Free Space, 4K Sabrina Carpenter song. That feels pretty good. Optical sensor, 4K, top USB-C, Elden Ring, Splatoon, I think could be. Well, Splatoon, I don't think we're getting Splatoon in this. Yeah, I think we're riding on Sabrina Carpenter being a part of this presentation if we want bingo. I did randomize that before I took the screenshot, so that's why it's kind of jumbled up. But regardless, that is all I have to say. This isn't going to be like a super heavily edited video. Obviously, the production value is in the toilet. You can see my bed in the back. I don't know. I just wanted to get this out, give my thoughts quickly, and then I don't know if I'll have a reaction, because it's probably not going to be at a convenient time of day for me. My Thursdays are absolutely swamped, so I probably won't have definitely not a live reaction, you know what I mean? I won't have a video reacting to it, but I will have kind of a discussion and thoughts video coming out, hopefully on Thursday, when we hopefully see this console in action for the first time. Let me know in the comments below what you expect to see revealed in this trailer about the Switch 2 and what you hope to see revealed. Is it a game? Is it a feature? Are you just happy that this mess is over with and the hype cycle can begin? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments. Hey, if you're seeing this video after the Switch 2 gets revealed, tell me what your favorite part of the reveal was and flex on me that you know something I don't. My lowly self from the past doesn't have the information you do about this darn system, you lucky son of a gun. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe, share the video with your friends, and be sure to check out my video detailing my top 5 favorite games of 2024. It is not doing very well, so go boost that video for me. And with that said, I'll see you soon to talk about everything Switch 2, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I can't point at the screen because of this stupid front-facing camera setup.